Well, let's speak now to the Conservatives Vice Chair for London, Bob Seeley. He joins us now on webcam from his constituency, the Isle of Wight. Mr. Seeley, good afternoon. Thanks very much for giving up some of your Saturday to talk to us.
My pleasure. May I correct you? I'm not the Vice Chair of London Conservatives.
Forgive me, that's an error that's gone onto the queue, and I'm sorry about that.
Worries.
It would be a little odd since your constituency is the Isle of Wight. You've got the largest constituency in England, haven't you, or something?
In population terms, yes.
So you've got quite enough to represent there.
Exactly.
Let me ask you about where we are with Brexit at the moment. Yep. What do you think is likely to happen this week, given the letter you and other MPs received last night from the Prime Minister saying she's not sure now she's got the votes necessary to put this up again to MPs?
Very good point, Sean. Next week, or this week coming, was meant to be deal or no deal, and sadly I think we're going to have another week or two or three of political purgatory. We have a Brexit nation that wants us to get on with it, and we have a Remain Parliament that frankly is trying to stop that happening.
How do you break that impasse? And I suppose in one way you might say, well, the simple solution is if Parliament is kind of divided from the people in the sense of what Theresa May said, go back to the people and ask them to confirm that what they said 3 years ago is still what they feel today.
John, I don't think we can do that because we didn't, when we agreed to have a referendum, we said we'd give it the choice to the British people. We didn't say it's home and away legs. We didn't say best of three. We said it's a once-in-a-lifetime decision. You make the decision and we will implement it. And I'm afraid to say on that point, I'm sticking firm because I think anything else starts to unravel the democratic relationship between the governed and the governed, those who govern and those who elect those who govern. I think two things have got to happen, and I'm not sure they're going to. I think Labour politicians have got to stop voting politically and start realising actually they've got a mandate. 2/3 of Labour constituencies are leave. They need to respect that. And as much as I like my Brexiteer colleagues who are voting against, and I have great respect for them, I think they need to stop using magical thinking. We're not going to get the numbers for a no-deal Brexit unless somehow we spiral out, and that's now not on the cards. We can just about get the numbers for the government's deal. So we need to think in terms of getting the numbers in the House for a deal that respects the mandate of the British people whilst lives in the real world.
Is it fair then to say, given the agreements at the EU summit on Thursday, that you have actually got a little bit longer now to get those votes? I mean, the Prime Minister says she might not put this up for a third vote this week. Presumably it could be delayed for another week, 10 days, without endangering or without risking the no-deal Brexit that a lot of MPs seem to be opposed to.
Yeah, but what we're going to end up with is this political purgatory where we're just going to get some sort of takeaway menu of options, and we're going to say, well, we like a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of the other. And I don't think we're going to get to any sort of option, I'm afraid. That's why we should not have agreed to an extension unless we had agreed a deal. And I'm afraid to say this is yet more kicking the can down the road. And I think people are beginning to lose faith. If I want to get a round of applause on the Isle of Wight audience, and I was with a supper with about 150 people last night, you criticise MPs for their indecision and you say, let's just get on with it. There is a mood in the nation and there is a mood in Parliament, and they are different. And we need to remember the mood in the nation. It wants us to get on with it.
Are you worried once this process has been completed? I mean, not just about the practicalities of getting to stage 2, because after all, we're only at the moment still talking about the withdrawal agreement. You've got to then negotiate a trading relationship between the UK and the EU. But are you worried also from a party point of view about kind of restoring relationships that seem to have been, to put it mildly, frayed by the process of the last 3 years?
Great question, John. I think that's less of a problem in the Conservative Party than Labour, because I think Labour have very deep fissures over the Corbyn leadership. I think we have pressures within our party, but they are not insurmountable. The reason why Brexiteers, moderate Brexiteers like myself, have gone with the May deal, with the Prime Minister's deal, however imperfect, it is because it's the only deal that is likely to get through this Parliament and get us out. Because once we're out, we're out. But until we leave, we are not out. I know that sounds like a statement of the incredibly obvious, but people who want us to leave but are voting against this deal need to understand that very, very basic sentence. Until we leave, we have not left.
So we're all still, in a sense, kind of running before we've walked. We haven't actually done the basic thing. We shouldn't be worrying really about indicative votes on what kind of future relationship we want until it is actually the future.
Exactly. We can do that in round 2. And I appeal not only to my Brexiteer colleagues, who I have a lot of time for, but a lot of very smart Labour people as well, that they need to listen to their constituencies, because people are going to lose faith in politicians if they can't make decisions and if they reverse the mandate or try to. 2/3 of Labour members of Parliament represent constituencies that voted to leave the European Union. So they need to stop voting politically to harm this government, to harm Theresa May, to push for a general election that actually in the heart of hearts they don't want, because they'll get clobbered. And we all need to respect the mandate of the British people, and we need to get on with it. We can sort out the relationships in stage 2. And the stage 2 negotiations are going to have to be a lot better, and I would like more reporting to Parliament, and I think the various amendments put down by various MPs last week, I think they make some very good points. We need to engage with Parliament, but Parliament needs to remember that the will of the people here is paramount, because that's what we agreed to.
Realistically, can Theresa May be in charge of that stage 2 process, negotiating the trade deal?
I think it's becoming increasingly difficult, but let's see. Let's see. We need to get this next week or the next 3 weeks through, and we need to leave in some form.
Bob Seeley, Conservative MP for Isle of Wight, thank you very much for being with us this lunchtime.